good afternoon, wherever you are based today. Thank you for joining. Today, the topic that I'm going to be talking to you about is the heart of conscious evolution. And that is how we evolve consciously. So I'm going to take you through a bit of this. Okay, so a bit about me. Who am I? So I am Sheetal Vithlani. I am a change and transformation specialist, and I've been in this field for over 20 years. I help individuals and organizations through their change and transformation journey, step outside of their comfort zone, break through any blocks and barriers and challenges that they may be facing to help them come to a place of clarity, direction, purpose to reach their desired goals. For me, one of the values that I live very close to my heart is about making sure that I'm continuously learning, growing, healing, and evolving. But it hasn't always been like this. I have faced many, many, many challenges along the way. I've had setbacks, I've had challenges, I've given up, I've picked myself up. And this has all led me to where I am today, which is feeling more connected and aligned with where I want to be. So my journey has been one of facing cultural stereotypes. So being South Asian, being female, you're expected to look after the house, cook, clean, get married, have kids, and do all those things, not have a career, go to work, but just do what you need to do, but not be ambitious and not achieve any of your goals. There's also been the gender discrimination that I faced, and that has been in the workplace very much. So over 30 years ago, when I first started working, it was very much so that being a woman, you had to work 10 times harder than any male colleague that you may be working with. Being Asian and being a woman, you'd have to work 20 times harder just to get what you needed, just to get where you needed to get to progress, to achieve your goals and to have success. And I would watch male colleagues do less work, not achieve as much, but they would be the ones that got the pay rises. They would be the ones that got the promotion. And yet I used to work really hard. There was also a feeling of not belonging. I mean, this started for me when I was at school. I was one of very few ethnic people within my school. And I never felt like I belonged, like anyone understood me. I was always, always different. And to me, that always used to make me feel sad. It used to hurt me, but now I realize that that is actually one of my superpowers, the fact that I am different. The judgment that I used to get, not being able to celebrate successes. One of my biggest memories from being at school was if I did something really well and I celebrated, I was always told, stop showing off. And almost to get back in my lane, whereas I would see some of my other classmates celebrating their successes, everyone joining in, everyone rejoicing in what they had done. So it resulted in me starting to play small, becoming invisible, hiding at the back of the room and not really being seen. I felt stuck. I had this huge fear of failure because I wasn't allowed to celebrate. It was almost like, if I did, was I showing off? But actually, if I did do something and it didn't work, people would say, oh, look at her, she's tried this and it didn't work. It made me feel not good enough, overwhelmed. And I felt trapped by other people's opinions. What I was finding was I was hitting glass ceilings based on other people's opinions of me, rather than what I was out there to do. And I wasn't allowed to be in my flow. I felt lonely. I felt unable to trust, and the walls and my barriers just built up and up and up. And I wouldn't push good things away. I would self-sabotage. I was actually living in fear. I was in constant fight or flight mode. I was constantly having adrenaline. And that led to me being in victim mode. Why me? Why does this happen to me? Why can't I do this? Blah, blah, blah. And then I started questioning, who am I? What is my purpose? Will I find light at the end of this tunnel? all I was longing for was this deep yearning for inner peace and how I would get there. And then there was this tipping point. I hit that tipping point. The realization that growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens in the moments you feel broken. And I felt broken. I had two choices: make me or break me. All I knew at that point in time was I could not continue the way I was. Something had to give, something had to change, because it was just too painful to stay where I was. I knew there was more out there for me. I knew I know I'm here to do more. And so it was, I lived in a shared house, and my flatmate had said to me, oh, there's this free course on at a hotel in Heathrow Sunday afternoon. Do you fancy coming along? I don't really want to go by myself. And I said, yeah, I'll go. Come Sunday afternoon. I was like, I really, really don't want to go. But I went. I didn't want her to go by herself, and I didn't want her to let her down. And actually, for me, that was my pivotal, one of my massive pivotal points. Everything changed from that point. I started to open my mind, the art of possible. Things that I already knew, I was becoming more aware of. These blocks that I had put up were starting to break down. And that led me on a journey to breaking my limiting beliefs. And I did things like walking on hot coals, walking on broken glass, bar bending, board breaking, with the palm of my hand. And if I could do that, then imagine what I could do if I opened myself up to possibilities. And that's where my self-development journey started. I trained as a master practitioner for NLP. I also trained in other healing modalities, energy healing, and other qualifications like personality profiling, running team building events for people, and actually just understanding what makes us tick and expanding the mindset and the art of the possible and what was achievable. And at that point, my life changed, massively changed. I had gone from a place where I was in a job that I hated, and I made the decision to leave. But again, it was very impulsive. It was like, something has to give, and I need to just change this now without actually thinking it through. But where I was in my head was, where did I want to be in 10 years' time, in 2 years' time, in 1 year's time? What did I want? I wanted financial security and freedom. And at that time, that meant to me was that I owned my time. I didn't exchange time for money. I also wanted to buy my own house, and I was unable to do that. I had lost so many houses in the process that I wasn't able to do that. I wanted to travel, but again, I didn't have the funds to do that. I didn't have the freedom, the time to do that, to grow, and I wanted to heal. And that's exactly what I did. I started to freelance, not really knowing where my direction was, but within the space of 6 months, that brought me the financial security that I wanted. It allowed me to create a life where I would work 8 to 9 months of the year and go traveling for the rest of it. I continued working on my self-development, whether that was from a professional perspective or a personal perspective. And I was healing. I was opening my mind to what had been stopping me and what my blocks were. And throughout that whole time, I held on to gratitude, strength, and resilience, which always raised my energy, always kept me going, because it made me realize how far I had come. I'd done many courses, had many mentors to help me along this journey. But the one thing that was still missing for me was family. I wanted a family of my own. And I met my partner very late. So I was about 37, I think, when I met him. And when we wanted to start having family, we were unable to conceive naturally. So we had our challenges. We went through our IVF journey, and I had one egg. We were very fortunate that it worked on our first attempt. But I think throughout that whole journey, I tapped into that gratitude, that strength, and that resilience. I knew it would happen in my heart of hearts. I knew it would happen. I also started 2 businesses, and again, by accident. It was almost like the idea popped into my head. 2 days later, they were launched. One was within the South Asian market for weddings and doing things like wedding favors and gifts. And the other one was a range of healing candles, all natural, non-toxic. And both of them I found myself launching at a place where I was broken. I'd given up. I didn't know what to do, but I knew something. I needed to move forward. I knew I was here to do more things. During COVID, after having my little one, life changed. My priorities changed. I had changed, and those businesses no longer served me, and I was no longer enjoying them. So I made the difficult decision to close them down. I did feel at that point I had failed, but actually I hadn't. I had evolved. I had actually recognized what was not working for me. And that brings me to the missing link. As much as I had worked on my mind, there was still something missing within that. So up until this journey, I had worked on my mindset. Everything was still very fear-based, very logical, looking for validation externally. It was hard, I'm not going to lie. It was hard, the hours, the work, the belief that you only were successful if you worked hard. It was keeping yourself separated and isolated. Everything was a competition, and customers or clients were scarce, and I was constantly in survival mode. So it was always this roller coaster that just went round and round. And then I started expanding my mind and healing my heart. And this is where I started to work with Natasha. And everything changed. It went from fear-based to love-based, trusting my intuition. It had always been there, but I'd always ignored it. Making sure that internally I evolved, everything became easy and in flow. It was working in unity and not in silos. And it was about making things better. How do I make things better? About abundance, collaboration, working together. Not everything is a competition. It's about how we work together and how we can grow. And as I worked on myself, I realized actually all of this was relevant to my corporate work as well that I did. So corporates were actually moving from mind-led to heart-led. Their values were changing. It was about collaboration. It was about being a better place to work, how to work better together, how to improve, and actually stopping working in silos. How do we bring it all together? And this is when I started looking at conscious evolution within my work with individual clients and also my corporate clients. Becoming heart-led is not just about personal transformation. It's a catalyst for global consciousness. So what does conscious evolution actually mean? So when you look at the dictionary definitions, it's a sense of awareness, knowing whether you're both internally or externally. To be conscious is to do something with purpose, with intent, and to do it on purpose. You are doing it because you want to do it. And to evolve is to evolve over time. It's to change, it's to grow, it's to expand. It's you progress during this time and there's transformations. But actually, in my journey over 25 years, first I found I healed my mind, and then I started working on my heart because something was still missing. It didn't matter how much work I had done, there was still something missing for me. And so what does conscious evolution mean to me? It's the ability to look deeper within yourself, searching for answers while expanding your awareness of your choices. It's choosing to be adaptable and making aligned decisions by setting clear intentions to change, grow, transform over time. What does that mean? That's really about what do you feel in your heart? And how does that make you feel? What do you want to change and where do you want to get to? And how are you going to get there? It doesn't have to be one big leap. You can take small steps to get there, because along the way, there will be different challenges, blocks, beliefs that you will work on. You will heal to grow and transform over time. It's about creating a life which has meaning and purpose for your existence, lifting you out of your current darkness and pain, whether that might be a mental health problem, any stress, any overwhelm, anxiety, a feeling of feeling trapped, trauma, not feeling good enough, not feeling enough, or judgment, feeling judged all the time. It's about choosing who you want to be and how you want to show up in this world. When we make conscious choices, we have the power to evolve, fulfill, exceed our potential. This led me to create the CREATE principles, which is about a different way of being, leading and living. Now, this is aligned with some of the ancient practices and traditions that you see in Sanskrit, you see in Christianity, you see in some of the Persian cultures, which is about the heart being the soul. It's about how your spark is held within your heart, and by expanding your heart, you expand your spark. And this is where the work that I've done with Natasha on heart healing has really supported this journey. So what is the CREATE principle? And the CREATE principle is something that is adaptable to individuals as well as corporates and organizations. So the C is for calibrate and communicate. So calibrating is about actually just taking stock, just stop, pause. Where am I now? What's going on? What's going on with me, or what's going on with the organization? What are the challenges? What do I need to change? Who do I need to tell? So when you're communicating, if you're working on yourself, sometimes you're just communicating to yourself to say, I can't carry on doing this. I want to do something different. This isn't working for me anymore. This is causing me too much pain. Within an organization, it will present itself as a challenge, a problem, something that needs improving. You hear a lot of organizations saying we're living in the 1980s. They haven't moved with the times. So there is a problem. There is something that you are looking to solve. Within organizations, communication is key, because you're not dealing with an individual, you're dealing with a collective. So how do we bring these people on this journey with us, knowing that they're all going to be at different places? So it's about presenting that, the realization, this is really happening. What does this now mean for me? When you're going through change and transformation, there is this bit in the middle that feels messy. It feels chaotic. It feels scary, until something beautiful at the end of it emerges. So it's to realize that actually I am doing this is happening. And how do I then move forward from it? And this is where we next tap into emotional intelligence and empathy. Now, this can be for yourself, or it can be for the people around you, or if you're working within an organization, the teams that are affected by it. So this is actually understanding what is triggering you, why is it upsetting you? You will find some people will embrace change. They will be so excited. They'll be like, oh, I can't wait for this to happen. It's going to make my life easier. Whereas there'll be others that will be feeling out of sorts. They'll be feeling nervous. They will still be in a place of fear. They don't do change. They don't like change. What does it mean for them? What's going to happen next? It's that unknown, whether it's from a personal perspective. It could be that the people around you are used to you the way you are, but as you change, it no longer serves them. So they are questioning, why are you changing? Why can't you just be how you want to be? Because that served them. It didn't serve you. And it's acknowledging that, understanding that, and not being triggered by it, but still continuing on your journey, but doing it in an empathetic way. And you might find that you distance yourself from those people. However, within an organization, you will get the same things. People have their own things going on, and they will get triggered by change. They'll be worried about losing their jobs. They will be worried about having to learn a new system, a new process, and they just don't want to change. So it's about having that awareness. Then it's about aligning for growth. So the A is alignment for growth. How do you align to yourself? How do you be true to yourself to grow and go in the direction that you want to go, to achieve whatever it is that you may want to achieve? With an organization, it's normally alignment for growth towards a mission, a vision. It might even be a goal that they might have. So, we want to increase our profits by 5% every year for the next 10 years. So it's how do you align that? What you are doing now to change and transform. How is that taking you to that end goal? What are the steps? If you do something today, is that leading you to where you want to be in the future, and making sure that the decisions that you make now are aligned with where you want to be in the future? Then the T is for transition and transform. So transform is what you get at the end. Once you've been through the change, you see the transformation. The transition is taking you from where you are now to where you want to be. So an organization where you are now to what you want to achieve, whether it's better systems, better processes, better organization structures, better environment for your staff, more collaborative working, whatever that might be. It's how do you get there? And that is, like we said before, the messy bit in the middle. And it's taking people on that journey. And at the end of it, you've transformed, you've expanded, and you've evolved. You've achieved what you set out to do. But it doesn't stop there. Evolution is circular. Once you evolve and get to where you are, there will be the next milestone, because you will have changed. The way you see the world, the way you see life has changed. You may want to move in a different direction. You may be at a different stage in your life, and it's how you get there. And as part of this process, when you work with me, there will be a number of different tools that we will use and techniques. Some of them will be tapping into old, ancient traditions, incorporating things back into everyday life and making them normal for you to be able to take yourself on this journey, ensure that your energy is up, your strength is up, you believe you are in a place of meeting your highest purpose. What is it that you want to do? What makes you happy? What makes your heart sing? And coming from a place of love rather than fear. How do we get to that place where, rather than feeling like we're on a constant roller coaster with all its twists and turns, actually we're in a calm place, we're in control, we know where we're going, we understand that there are challenges on the way, and it's how we deal with them. But it's about being aware of these and how we do that. And heart healing is one of the modalities that is integral to this process. It's about how we heal our heart, how we take that journey into our heart. So I have a question for you guys. Are you ready to take that leap to heal your heart and evolve consciously? Now, for me, this phrase has been my driving force from day one. Leap and the net will appear. It's an old Zen proverb. And originally, when I found it, I was always coming from a place of fear. I was too scared to take that next step. What would happen? What if I failed? But I still did it because I knew deep inside something had to change. And over time, that has evolved. Leap and the net will appear is still so important to me, because actually I know that I'm held. I know that I'm safe. I know that the leap that I'm taking, I'm going to be held by love. I'm doing it with love. I want to collaborate. And not everyone around me will be on that same path and on that same journey, but it's okay. They will have their own opinions, and that's okay. But for me, it's about taking that leap of faith and actually healing your heart so that you can consciously evolve. So I have a bit of an exercise for you guys. So one of the techniques that I find is super useful with this is to simply look to quieten your mind and to be aware of how you're feeling. So I'm just going to give you a couple of seconds to do that. Just close your eyes, keep your eyes open, whatever it is that works for you. And just have a think. How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling any pain, any trauma, anything that's holding you back, anything that's making you anxious? Or is it resonating in you as a physical pain within your body? Where is that? How is your heart feeling? Is it feeling nervous? Is it beating really fast? Is it calm? Is it feeling secure? Does it feel like it's enough? It's good enough. It's filled with gratitude. It's filled with love. How is your heart feeling? What is holding you back and keeping you stuck? Ask your heart any questions you are searching answers for. What is your heart telling you? Sometimes it won't be words, it will be a feeling. You'll either feel uplifted or you'll feel sad. These are all signs that we need to look out for within ourselves to what our heart is telling us, what are our own tells, and it's about understanding ourselves. This doesn't happen overnight. This is something that you practice. This is something that you can incorporate into your daily routine. You can do once a week, once a month, whatever works for you. Personally, it's something that I tap into pretty much every single day because it helps me ground myself. It makes me focus my day, my energy, my efforts into what is the right thing to do, because we all have lots of distractions in life. There are so many things going on, but how do we keep true to ourselves, and how do we actually treat ourselves with love and move forward? If there is anything that you would like to share or any questions that you have, please feel free to pop them in the chat. So I want to thank you for listening to the talk today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've put down some contact details, so if you can find us on Instagram, email. We do have our website, and our waiting list is on there now. I do have a special offer running today, so the first 10 people that join the wait list and enter in the comment box when Heart Heal Summit, your name and your postal address, I will send you a copy of the book. If you already have a copy of the book and you want to pay it forward to someone else, then put in your friend's name and their postal address, and I will get that sent out as well. So I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, with great gratitude, thank you so much for listening to the talk today. And I'm going to start going through the chat and opening this up for any questions and answers that you may have. If you do think of anything in the meantime, please feel free to pop them in the chat afterwards. And I will come back to them and answer any questions that may come to you afterwards. Please take some time for yourself to tune into yourself and see where you want to get to, where you want to be. And thank you for joining me on this journey. And I will end this call by saying goodbye, but thank you very much.